So here I am starting my first episode of discussing Kingdom Hearts. I never actually expressed this all that much, but I do really love the Kingdom Hearts series. I love it to death, and crazy plots aside, I really do love the series. So I'm gonna decide to do this by series, well, by game really. I'm gonna start with Kingdom Hearts, then move on to Chain of Memories or Chain of Memories, depending on the game. Then Kingdom Hearts 2, then 358, Recoded, Birth by Sleep, then Recoded, and so on and so forth. Just to keep all this stuff streamlined as I can, so I won't be talking about one game the entire video. So Kingdom Hearts 1 is the first game I'm going to be talking about today. Now, I guess I could give some history about how I started with Kingdom Hearts and then lean into 1, because I didn't start Kingdom Hearts with 1 at all. I started with Chain of Memories on the Game Boy because I didn't have a PS2 when I was, much younger. I didn't get a chance to enjoy Kingdom Hearts all that much, so I had to play the side games. So like once Chain of Memories, and I played 358 and the other games, and then I managed to find a way to get 1.5 and 2.5 like on the PS3, and I actually got to fully enjoy those games. So I didn't get to really play Kingdom Hearts 1 until like way later, actually fully play it, not just play a little bit of it. And yeah, Kingdom Hearts 1 was it was an experience. That was back then when the plot was a lot simpler, and I will be talking about it because I love Kingdom Hearts plot, despite how crazy it is. It's the craziness itself that keeps me invested. It really does. And it's crazy to believe how far the series has come since then. Literally Kingdom Hearts 1 was super simple. It was just a boy on an island trying to escape. Well, not trying to escape, but go out and see the world beyond the island. And I liked that plot. It was simple. The story didn't act all crazy and convoluted it didn't act like that until Kingdom Hearts 2 came out, really. Like, once Kingdom Hearts 2 came out, it pretty much set the stage for everything else in the series. And Kingdom Hearts 1 was relatively simple. And usually people say the combat's dated, and it's like a half and half where I agree with that statement. Like, I will agree that it is kind of old, but I would say it's not old to the point where it's not playable. Like, you can easily play Kingdom Hearts 1 and have a good time. It's just that once you play it, going back to the other games is going to be kind of a big difference. Like trying to play Kingdom Hearts 2 and then go back to 1 in this day and age is kind of like a tough thing like a tough cookie, to eat. But as for Kingdom Hearts 1, I like the simplicity of it. Really, it was literally just about a boy on an island and his friends trying to go out and, see the world beyond the horizons. And once they finally get there, all this crazy stuff started to happen. Where you get with Ansem, you got the Disney villains, and the bigger plot at large. And I want to start talking about the Disney part before I start actually talking about the main, the other parts, like the Final Fantasy aspects and the actual original Kingdom Hearts aspects. Because I'm gonna be honest, the Disney parts aren't the reason I play Kingdom Hearts. Not at all. Disney never got me into playing Kingdom Hearts, but I did thought it was a cool concept. Square Enix meets Disney. That's a weird concept, but it works. And it's not Disney that gets me into it. If anything, it's the actual original Kingdom Hearts stuff gets me into it. Disney was never a factor. That's why I never really care about what worlds come out for the game. Where Kingdom Hearts game comes out, I don't even care what worlds get in, because I was never attached to Disney like that. Now, I did like Disney when I was younger. I saw all the movies and junk like that, but when regarding a world, let's say, oh no, a new Disney world, let's say, when it was announced that, Frozen and Big Hero 6 or whatever got in Kingdom Hearts 3, I never really cared about that. I mean, it was cool. I was like, oh yeah, they're cool to get those worlds in there, but it really didn't matter to me. But it's not the Disney aspect that gets me into Kingdom Hearts now. I do love the Disney worlds and their recreations and the games. But as far as them pulling me into playing Kingdom Hearts, it wasn't that. It was just pretty much... It was Final Fantasy that led me into it. But it was the original Kingdom Hearts content that kept me sticking. I wasn't really one of those guys that clamored for, oh no, Kingdom Hearts needs Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy characters weren't in Kingdom Hearts 3. And, that kind of got a big reaction out of people. And while it didn't faze me any, because okay, it doesn't matter, really, it's the Kingdom Hearts original stuff I come for, in the Disney world too, because that's what we're going to be doing most of the game. But what kept me sticking with the series so long is the Kingdom Hearts content. If it was just the Disney parts, I probably wouldn't have been interested in Kingdom Hearts as I am now. That would be kind of sad, because if I was just interested in the game for one part only, I really wouldn't enjoy playing it, you know? Like, if Kingdom Hearts was just Disney and nothing else, like if it was just a straight up Disney original product, I probably wouldn't be interested in it, because it's not Disney that keeps me around, it's Kingdom Hearts itself. And, you know, starting with 1, you know, it was actually as most simple back then. You know, they just retold simple stuff for the plot. But, you know, technically Sora, Donald, and Goofy were your self-inserts in there. And, you know, you saw how the plot played and how Sora just fight all these epic Disney bosses. And I feel like the Disney part of Kingdom Hearts was at its strongest in 1, because, like, since it was new, it was fresh, you never seen something like that before, you know, it was the most important. But, like, as Disney got on in Kingdom Hearts, it kind of started being less and less important. You know, it started falling to the wayside. Like, oh, Kingdom Hearts 3 is pretty much mostly Disney, but, like, that Disney stuff heavily has no that much bearing on the actual plot. You know, stuff like that. But I'm not going to talk about Kingdom Hearts 3 here, because, you know, it has nothing to do with this. But with Kingdom Hearts 1, I felt like it was the most stronger there. You know, it was the strongest there because it was the first instance of where we had Disney characters. Hell, one of the first cutscenes you see is first cutscenes at Disney were with you know, Donald walking through the castle. You know, he has, like, you know, in that big door, but, you know, he knocks on a smaller door and goes through, like, it was just like that. You know, it was setting up how Donald and Goofy would meet up with Sora, and then you somehow meet Final Fantasy characters, which was funny. Now, it was a wacky adventure, really. Like, it's like a weird concept. You got Disney, Final Fantasy, and Square. You know, it's not even just Final Fantasy meets Square Enix. It's literally Disney meets Square, and it's a weird experience. But, like, the game has its own charm. That's what I like about the Kingdom Hearts series. Is, like, it has that weird charm that, like, you know, the concept is crazy, but yet it keeps you invested. You know, you can get attached to these characters and you can enjoy their stories despite how weird it is, you know. And I feel like Sora was at his more simplest there. Like, he was just a kid trying to go out and, you know, expand his horizons. And, you know, like, you know, he has to deal with the fact that his sort of girlfriend, you know, is gone to the darkness and that she's in some coma. And he got Riku and his best friend now gone to the darkness. And he kind of hates Sora now because, you know, he's like, oh, well, you replaced me with Donald and Goofy, and, you know, that Keyblade right there, that's mine. That should be mine. I was meant to wield this Keyblade, not you. You know, Sora's like, you know, even if I don't have all the strength, even though my friends abandoned me, even though I don't have the Keyblade no more, you know, my heart is my power. And, you know, that was, like, I feel like was the strongest in that series, where, like, you know, your heart was your strongest, because Sora had nothing but just determination and willpower, and all he had to do was believe into his heart, and the Keyblade came back to him, which was a powerful scene to me. It was a very powerful scene because, like, the kid had nothing at that point. He had to rely on beats the whole time. He couldn't damage any of the Heartless with just his regular wooden sword. So, you know, he had to just, you know, work on what he had. Well, you, the player, had to work on what you had. Let me give me a second. But yeah, he had to work on what he had. And then, you know, Don Gooey come out. Like, it's like you felt, you know, how Sora felt when he had to go through that moment, you know. Like, you had to feel what he felt. Like, the fact that you got abandoned by Donald Duck and Goofy is so crazy to me. Like, imagine, like, you were younger and just having your favorite cartoon characters just leave your ass because you're not good enough anymore. Like, they go off to find someone better because now Riku has the Keyblade, and they left Sora for him. It's crazy. Like, just imagine you see someone like someone I liked as when I was younger, like let me think of an old cartoon, like let's say I was in, like, an Ed, and Eddie, and, like, just watching Ed, and Eddie just leave me like that would suck. Like, they just left my ass because I wasn't good enough for their scams or whatever. But I generally did enjoy the Kingdom Hearts 1 characters. You know, it was a smaller cast back then. Well, a smaller main cast back then. You know, the stakes were high, but they weren't, like, what's the word? They weren't, like, gigantically high like they were in the other series, where, like, oh, we gotta do all this stuff just to beat a main villain that we haven't actually beaten yet. Like, not the main villain. Because with Kingdom Hearts 1, the only person you had to really worry about at the time was Riku and then Ansem, and it turned out now they're one and the same with Riku and Ansem. You know, like Ansem right there was powerful without actually having to be in the plot all that much, because you really don't see Riku Ansem until like a little later in the game, like basically to the Hollow Bastion part. And like you see Ansem first, but you don't see like actually you have to duke hands with Ansem to the end of the game. Yeah, he's in like a reoccurring boss you fight a bunch. You don't get to do all that. You don't even meet him till near the end. And that scene made Ansem seem a lot more imposing to me because he just showed up on Destiny Islands with that big ass speech. He was like, "Oh God, I want to say the exact line, but I can't even say it." But yeah, he was just on the island and like the whole tone shifted. You know, like there was like this game started off with happy kids playing on an island, wondering what's out there. And then once Ansem showed up, that was a big shift. Like Sora loses his home. Sora loses his home. He loses his friends. He's stuck in a world he doesn't even recognize. And he has to travel worlds just to look for his friends. And that was really powerful. Especially like you feel like, I don't know, when I started as Sora, I was like, man, whatever ever happened, I had to go through something like this. Like Sora's all by himself. He even got attacked. By some Final Fantasy character. Like when he meets Squall for the first time, like, well, Leon, he gets his ass kicked. It doesn't matter if you beat that fight, he still gets his ass kicked. And like, it's like, man, dude, like you lose your home and you get beat up by a Final Fantasy character. That sucks. But Sora's journey through the game was nice. It really was a good journey. As a kid, you kind of really wish you went through those kind of Disney adventures, even as an adult. Even as an adult like me, I kind of wish I could have went through some of those crazy adventures. And Kingdom Hearts let me kind of do like something like that. Like in my wildest dreams, I never thought I'd be playing a game where I get to go through Wonderland and Agrabah and the Olympus Coliseum at once. And then when you get to the Kingdom Hearts original worlds like Hollow Bastion and the end of the world, you get that sense of, oh God, we went so far into this. What we're going to do now, Like you leave that happy tone of those Disney worlds, and then you get into like the darkness, like the actual messed up, corrupted worlds. Like, well, I'm not saying Hollow Bastion is corrupted, but like it's such a different place from the Disney worlds, and especially the end of the world. Like they're so different from the Disney worlds, it's crazy. Like the difference is staggering. And like it has that foreboding kind of feeling. It's like you're not supposed to be here or something like that. Especially when you get in the Hollow Bastion and Sora ain't got his Keyblade no more. He got his Keyblade. He can't use magic. He has to rely on the beast to do stuff for him. And he has and then you get to go to the end of the world where like Heartless are everywhere. The whole place it's like it's been broken apart. Everything's just everywhere. And then once you finally pass all that, you get back to Destiny Isles again. But it's all messed up and Ansem's freaking there. Like it was like things went down in KH1. And like I did like all the characters. Like I said this before, like Dawn and Goofy were good entertaining characters. Like Dawn was annoying as hell, but you knew he meant well. And some of his slapstick humor was funny back then. Goofy was just the dude trying to keep it all together. He was just like I like the change they did with Goofy. Like he's not like a goof like he is in his main series. They Nomura kind of made him the voice of reason. When Donald and Sora and Donald are kind of going at each other, Goofy's the one has to come in and like calm them down. And I like that. Like he's the dad and he has his two annoying sons with him. It's crazy. And then you got Riku. Now Riku was a character I didn't like all that much back then. Like Riku started acting all petty and everything, but then come full circle to the end game, he technically sacrificed himself just to save Sora and Kairi, and I was like, damn, dude. Like he let his darkness get to him, and to the point where he got possessed by Ansem. And then once it was too late, he's like, the only thing I could do right now is just sacrifice myself and close the door on the other side. While I'm stuck in the realm of darkness, Sora, you go on and be with Kairi, you gotta finish this. And then Sora's like, I couldn't do it. Sora couldn't do it. He had to go save Riku, and it was just messed up, man. It was some real heavy stuff though. The more I think about it, the more I think how heavy and deep KH1 really was. Because it was started as a simple adventure for finding friends, but now pretty much they're all scattered It reminds me of just like Birth by Sleep, like, you start off with adventure, you're having fun and everything, and then you're all scattered everywhere, parts unknown. Once Sora ends his journey in KH1, Kairi's back on the islands again. Sora's still missed. Well, he made it to Castle Oblivion, and Riku's in Castle Oblivion. It's just, it's messed up stuff, man. Like, I make it seem like more a big deal, but it actually is like simple. It was simple but powerful. It was powerful. And then you got Kairi, which, to be fair, Kairi doesn't do much the whole game, but I think that's her purpose, was she was the driving force behind Sora and Riku's actions. Because without Kairi, Sora really wouldn't, be on his major journey in the first place, and Riku wouldn't be either, because Riku's whole point was to protect Kairi. And then he fell to the darkness and became Riku and Sim, and then had to make the ultimate sacrifice to help his friends. Sora, in the meanwhile, had to go search for Riku and Kairi, and then go to all these Disney worlds, getting leads, but leading up to nothing. But at least in these Disney worlds, he kind of led up to something. He learned something new about the Disney villains. He learned a little more revelations about where his friends are. It made like, it was like all these worlds were building up to something. And once Sora finally goes to Hollow Bastion and face off against Riku, it's like, you just like, it's a lot different from when Sora fought Riku on the islands. Like, it was like more serious. Like, they were just play fighting on the islands, but like now it's like a real deal. Like, Sora has to beat his friend because his friend felt the darkness. And like, Kingdom Hearts 1 was a lot deeper than I remember it being. Like, more normal. I used to blaze through the game, like, it's simple. Like, it's not wacky like the other Kingdom Hearts games. But like, when you think about it real more, it's like, it was a perfect start. KH1 was a perfect start to the series. It really was, because like, it really was. It really was. And then like, oh yeah, I missed Kairi. I was talking about her. But Kairi's like, anyway, she was like the driving force behind her actions. And to be fair, most of the time she's asleep. But, she was a driving force behind Sora, giving him the lucky charm and crap like that. And like, she was the main reason. Like, it's pretty much saved the princess. And she was the princess, was a princess at heart. And, just, she was asleep most of the game, to be honest. But she didn't really have to do much, really. She didn't have to do much. Like, she was a perfect, like, stand-in. And then even actually she came back, she gave Sora encouragement, wanted her friends back. Like, all she wanted was her friends back and junk like that. It was simple. I mean, I love this game. Like, I love Kingdom Hearts. I really do. Like, I love all the games. But Kingdom Hearts 1, it's not my favorite KH game. But it was back then when, like, the series wasn't so convoluted, which, to be fair, I do love the convoluted plot of KH. I do love the crazy plot. I like to know what's going on next. But, like, just thinking how condensed and, like, somewhat normal the original game was, it makes you really think. And just damn, dude. Like, I like singing the praises of the game. I really like the game. And the story was really great. For what it was really great. It really was. And with the worlds, they were a good selection of worlds, really. I would say the only world I really didn't like all that much was like, I want to say it may be, it's a tie between Wonderland. Actually, no, I don't have a problem with Wonderland all that much, to be honest. It's like the jungle. Like, I have never been a fan of the Tarzan world. It's just like, you have to do a lot of backtracking and a lot of like specific like vines to go down and jump. I don't like that. I never did. Like, I like the music, and I do like Tarzan the movie though, but the world itself, I'm kind of glad it never made a reappearance in Kingdom Hearts though. I really wish it did. Like, to be honest, I really wish it did, but goddamn, dude, like, I hate that world. Like, I hate that world, man. Like, I don't hate it, but like, it's like my least favorite of Kingdom Hearts. Like, every other world in the game I'm fine with, Like, Traverse Town, pretty decent for an original world. Destiny Islands, well, I mean, to be fair, Destiny Islands really doesn't count all that much because you really don't do much there. But Destiny Islands was a fine world, a fine introduction. Olympus Coliseum was fine back then, and before it got shoved down our throats it was Agrabah I want to talk about. Olympus Coliseum fine. Agrabah, it was fine before it started shoving down everybody's throats. Like, oh, Agrabah almost every game now, but Luckily, they stopped doing that in Dream of Distance and onward, so that's something. Uh, what else? I already said Wonderland. Wonderland's not my favorite world. It was never my favorite world, dude. Like, Wonderland never got interesting for me, ever, dude. I don't know why. I think it's because, like, the world itself is just kind of boring, though. Like, it has interesting ideas, but, like, when I want to play through it, I'm like, I gotta do this again? You know, it was like, the world just felt boring, you know? It didn't feel like I was playing Alice in Wonderland, you know? It just didn't feel like it. I mean, at least with the other Disney worlds, it feels like I'm playing their respective movies, but like with Wonderland, I can honestly do without it. Then you get the Pirates world, which it was fine. I like the whole Big Ben part. I kind of wish they brought the Big Ben part back in, like, let's say 358. I understand why they probably didn't. But I did like the Big Ben part. Like, that was like my favorite part of the level because most of the time you're on the ship anyway. God, what else? I know I'm missing a world. There's a world stuck in my head somewhere. I'm trying to remember what that. Oh, Halloween Town. Halloween Town's all right. I never sung praises to Halloween Town like ever, except KH2 when you go to Christmas Town, but that's Christmas Town. That's not even Halloween Town. But yeah, I never really enjoyed Halloween Town. I don't hate it, but it's not my favorite world either. I do like the Sora and Don Goofy's costumes change. I love any world where that happens. Just to see them something different. We got Winnie the Pooh. We got the Pooh storybook. Now that's a mini game world, so I can't really say nothing, but I like Winnie the Pooh, so there you go. I like Winnie the Pooh. It's an okay world, especially for a mini game world, so it gets you something to do. And you got Atlantica. And Atlantica is like one of those controversial, oh God, we don't want to talk about this kind of level. And for me personally, it's not my favorite either. Like, I would take Deep Jungle over Atlantica any day. Like, Atlantica is so painful to go through, dude. Like, it takes forever to get through. And then when you want to fight Ursula, it's like a pain in the ass to even do so, Like, the entire world is just annoying. The music was like, the music will start to grate on your nerves after a while. And then you got the damn swim controls, which like ruins that world. Like, you're so slow and you can zoom, but you can speed up, but you can't really do anything you could as regular Sora. You're stuck at the mercy of the swimming controls. You can't run fast. You can't even swim all that fast, to be honest. You can't control yourself while you swim. Like, when you want to boost swim, you can't even control yourself during that. And that's what sucks. And like, you can't even block either, which is also bad. And then when you get to the bosses, they're even worse. You get Ursula with that damn cauldron bull crap. And I hate that part. I hate that part so much, dude. Like, it sucks so damn bad. And then you got her second phase, which is like, her second phase is just like, she's so damn strong. Like, playing on proud mode with that fight, with those two fights, is so annoying. Like, really. Like, they're so bad. Like, Atlantica, like, I can't find anything positive to say about Atlantica. Like, at all, dude. Like, if it was an optional world like it was in Kingdom Hearts 2, it would be different. But even then, I probably would have played it anyway because I kind of want to play all the worlds. Like, I don't like skipping worlds. I don't like skipping nothing. But Atlantica is it's so stressful to go back to. Like, I really don't want to go back to Atlantica. Like, every time I want to play KH1, I just dread having to go back to Atlantica because I'm all like, oh, great, I gotta do these stupid ass Ursula bosses again. And like, there's like no map for KH1, so going like. One of my main problems with KH1 that it doesn't have a map, and while I can handle with some of the worlds, like some of the worlds I don't need a map in, like let's say a Wonderland, I don't need a map for that. But like, Atlantica is a level that desperately needed a map. Like, really, that place needs a map because like I have to like gallivant around just to know where I'm going, and like it's bad. Like, I hate Atlantica so much, man. Like, that place is so garbage. Look, if there's Atlantica fans out there, more power to you. But for the life of me, I can't do it. Atlantica is like the worst world I've played in any KH game. When I was younger, I told people, and people told me like, "Oh, Atlantica sucks." I'm sitting there like, "No, it ain't that bad. Atlantica ain't that bad." But as I got older and done more replays of KH1, I can definitely say it's like the worst world in that game. Probably the worst world ever. Like people can rip on like places like Skylight Kylum in base KH3 where you don't get to do anything, but at least that world didn't piss me off like Atlantica did. Like Atlantica, like it's so confusing to navigate. The bosses were awful. The combat's awful. Like the world didn't need to exist, man. And like once it's funny enough, it's one of the last few worlds before you get near the end of the game, and that kind of sucks even harder. So yeah, Atlantica's stressful, man. Like it takes forever to even get through, and I hate the world. I hate that world, dude. Like damn. And even then, the Keyblade you get from the world ain't even worth it either. It ain't. But yeah, moving on from Atlantica. Yeah, I think that's all the Disney worlds I said. Yeah, I think that's all the Disney worlds. I did say Olympus Coliseum already, and Olympus Coliseum's alright for what it is. It's the same arena thing, you know. Fight monsters in an arena, move on. Yeah, I think that's all the Disney worlds. And far as that, all Disney worlds are fine in the game. I do have some problems with Deep Jungle, as I said before. It's like the platform, like the platforming in KH1 is kind of a sore spot for me. Like people wanted the platforming to come back, and that's what they did in 0.2. But me personally, I kind of don't like the platforming in something because like sometimes Sora can't make certain jumps, or you gotta have to make like a leap of faith or some crap like that. And like I just don't think like the game KH was made for that. Like you don't even see no platforming levels like barely anywhere post KH1 except in 0.2. You don't even see it that much in 3 either. You don't even see anything in 3 like that. Like platforming levels just don't work right in Kingdom Hearts. And KH1 is like the worst example. No, KH1 ain't the worst example. Recoded is, but I'm not there yet. But yeah. Deep Jungle, I don't like the platforming sections. Like some of those, like where like you gotta go from like the camp to like that Hippo Lake or whatever the hell it's called. You gotta hop those platforms and climb up the vines and then go like it's a mess. Like you gotta climb on certain vines and then like KH1 would have benefited from a map though. I don't know if it would have benefited with a map in Deep Jungle. I don't think there's no way that would have worked, but whatever. But yeah, Deep Jungle and Atlantica are sore parts for me. But other than that, the game is fine. The worlds are fine. I already talked about the story, the worlds, the gameplay. Now, Kingdom Hearts gameplay, like KH1's gameplay, people say it was dated. People say it was like, old, arcade. But like, for its time, the game was actually pretty good for me personally, combat-wise. It was really my first time playing an action RPG. I never got to, like, as far as I'm aware, I don't remember even playing any action RPGs back in that day. Like, if they were any, there weren't probably any good ones. Like, I'm glad Kingdom Hearts went with the action RPG route. I really did. Because, like, imagine if Kingdom Hearts was a turn-based game. I was like, oh my god, that wouldn't have worked at all. And the fact that it was my first action RPG, as far as I remember, it was... I mean, if you count Secret of Mana as an action RPG, it's not turn-based. I guess you could count Secret of Mana, I guess. Yeah, Secret of Mana, because I played Secret of Mana before I played KH. But anyway, with Kingdom Hearts, it's just like the gameplay it's old. I will say that, but it's not super old to where you can't enjoy it. Like you can still play it and have fun with it. It's not that old. My main favorite about Kingdom Hearts 1 is the air combos and the fact that how fast Sora goes instead of his normal ground combos. Like I've always liked pulling off air combos in KH because the Sora goes so damn fast. And I don't know, like KH combos never got that bad for me. Your standard, like, you got combo plus, air combos, etc. So air combo pluses, combo modifiers. That's pretty much where it all started from. And I would say, I don't know if I even have a problem with the gameplay, really. Like I would say that some of the enemies do get on my nerves, really. Like, large bodies are so annoying to fight in the game. Like, that's every KH game. Like, I never liked large bodies in any Kingdom Hearts games because I was never a fan of enemies you can't hit from the front. Like, I hate kind of enemies like that where they got some kind of shield or barrier on the front of their bodies. And you have to go around the back and hit them. Like, it's so annoying to do that. And Kingdom Hearts 1 is probably the worst. Because large bodies, like, they're so big. Like, large bodies are actually, like, really big. Like unreasonably big. And it's super, super annoying. Like, goddamn. There's also those Angel Star Heartless. Like, oh yeah, I want to talk about the end of the world. It's a part of the gameplay section, but the end of the world's last, like, the final rest, like the place you go for the final rest, and we gotta fight all those invisibles and angel stars, it's probably like one of the most annoying parts of that game. It reminds me of the damn Cavern of Remembrance part where you gotta go to the Garden of Assemblage. You know, that very last gauntlet of enemies you gotta go through just to get there. And like, they constantly spawn. Like, it takes forever. It takes forever to kill all those enemies, man. Like, I'm just like with the Angel Stars and Invisibles, they're literally some of the strongest Heartless in the game. Like, hell, you don't see any of those Angel Stars when you're fighting Ansem, a world of chaos, right? Like, nah. And like, that part is so annoying because I remember playing on Proud Mode, and like, Proud Mode KH1 is really hard, dude. Like, really hard. Like some people like critical mode and Proud Mode on other games I can deal with, except for Rechain. Rechain Proud Mode is not fun at all. But like, I could deal with critical mode and Proud Mode on other games. I mostly play critical mode on the games I can play on, like KH2, Final Mix. Like, every game, I try to play the highest difficulty. But Kingdom Hearts 1's Proud Mode, oh my god, dude, trying to do that last gauntlet on Proud Mode is hard as hell. Like, playing Kingdom Hearts 1 in Proud Mode in general is hard. Like, KH1's Proud Mode is so hard. Like, so hard. Like, it was like probably the hardest KH experience I've ever had. And like, it's because like the enemies do so much damage to you. Like, your Sora is like squishy as all hell. Like, one good hit and you're dead. You know, over time, you know, you start getting more, you know, HP and junk like that, and more abilities and whatnot. You get stronger, you can avoid all that, but like Sora can just die so easily, and like, it doesn't have like all the, you know, the trimmings of like KH2 Final Mix's critical mode where you get a bunch of cool abilities at the start. If anything, you're kind of gimped at Kingdom Hearts 1 for, because at least on other difficulties, you get like some kind of item boost. Like, you get like some, like a bunch of AP, you get a bunch of abilities, you know, et cetera, et cetera. You get all those. But with Kingdom Hearts 1, you're pretty much just like high and dry base Sora, like the most bare Sora ever. And you get so many abilities that your AP can't catch up with it all. Like, your AP is so small. And like, it's crazy, you know? It's really crazy. KH1's probably like, it was an experience. I've only tried that like honestly twice. Like, in my entire life of playing Kingdom Hearts 2. Kingdom Hearts 1. I've only played Proud Mode twice on that game. Mainly because early game is so bad, dude. Like, you gotta like, I burned through so many items just playing Proud Mode, like, in the early game. Like, once you hit like maybe once you hit about Hollow Bastion, it starts getting a little less hard, because Riku Ansem, you can actually handle him a little good, like, if you know how to dodge right. I'm not saying he's easy, like, he's still hard, but like, once you hit like later game, you're good, like, somewhat, but the game is still hard throughout, man. Like, it just takes so long. Early game is unfair. Like, you go to Olympus and you can get two shy by Cloud. Like one hit from a good Heartless, like, from a regular Shadow, once you get to Traverse Town, like, it could easily knock you out. Like, it's crazy, man. Like, oh my god. Like, it's freaking ridiculous. And I don't know, man. Like, Proud Mode KH1, I never want to do. Like, I do it sometimes because I'm like, okay, I want to play all the difficulties to get this done. But like, every time I think about it, I just get scared. And I'm like, oh my god, I can't do this. I can't do this. But yeah, moving on from Proud Mode, which is like ass, it's hard as hell. We got the God, what's the name of that game? No, not that game. It's like or it's all about the characters, or it's all about the Disney stuff. Well, the bosses. I didn't talk about the bosses yet. KH1's bosses are kind of like a hit or miss for me. It's not like I hate them all because mostly, you just go up to Sora and whack him with a Keyblade, but I don't like Jafar's boss battle. Like, I never will. I never will like Jafar's boss battle. That boss battle will never be good in my eyes, ever. Like, the fact that you can't even fight Jafar himself and you're stuck fighting Iago, which they replicated for both Read Chain of Memories and Recoded, it's ridiculous. Like, the only time you get to fight Jafar regularly is in KH1. KH2. And funny enough, you do fight Jafar in his base form, and then he goes Genie. You can't do crap against that. What kind of crap is that? I don't even like Jafar in his base form either. Like, I hate that fight too, because he constantly teleports around the battlefield. And because of how slow Sora is in that game, you can't really do much. It's like a hit and run kind of game. It sucks ass. Like, I hate that fight. Like, I don't like any of Agrabah's boss fights. I don't like the Phantom. Now, the Phantom is like a super boss, so I can't really say much on him, but I don't like him either. Like, the fact that you gotta use certain magic to hit him, where like it's like, oh, you can only hit him once. If you run out of ether, you're pretty much boned. And you gotta use Stop on the goddamn Big Ben in order to slow the time so he won't kill off your party members permanently, and then you. Like, that's so stupid. I hate that. Like, I know he's a super boss, but for frick's sake, dude. God damn it, that's not fun. I guess another boss fight. I already talked about Ursula's boss fights, like one with the Cauldron and then one of her giant stuff. I don't like those either. Now, I would say I hate Oogie Boogie's boss fights, but I kind of gotten used to them, especially Boogie's Manor, like where he fuses with his house, like he becomes a big ass house. I dealt with that boss fight. I mean, you don't really get to fight the house; you get to fight orbs on the house, but it's fine. It's a cool concept at least, so I give it that credit. Yeah, I'm trying to think like other bosses I actually don't like in the game, but everyone else I think like it's fine. Everyone else seems rather fine to me. Like, I'm trying to think like other bosses I don't like. It's kind of hard to think about. Unless you want to count the card soldiers as a boss fight, but I mean, do I really want to count those as my boss fight? I kind of don't. But yeah, bosses are fine in the game. Like, there's only like a few that piss me off. Like, especially the Ursula ones. The Ursula ones are stupid as hell, dude. Like, and Jafar too. Like, it's not even about like the second phase of Jafar that pisses me off. It's just like the fact that you don't even get to fight Jafar. You fight Iago. And in the first phase of the fight, you gotta constantly run around, hit Jafar. You only hit him a little bit before he teleports. Like, and I would say like Ansem's boss fights are kind of cheap as hell on Proud Mode and junk like that. But you're playing on Proud Mode anyway, so you're kind of expecting the higher difficulty, so I can't say nothing. But I've died so many times at World of Chaos Ansem, it's ridiculous. Like, oh yeah, I get to talk about World of Chaos Ansem. World of Chaos Ansem has a lot of problems with his attacks, man. Like, he does so much damage, and on top of that, like, so it's like sometimes your attacks will go right through him and whatever. You won't do that much damage to him, and then he can just easily slice off like 3 KO you. It's ridiculous. He can 3-hit kill you, and it sucks. It sucks. I hate that fight, but it's like it's satisfying to get past it on Proud Mode though. It's really satisfying. It's really, really satisfying. But other than that, yeah, the bosses are fine for KH1. I would talk about Keyblades. Keyblades are fine in the game. Oathkeeper and Oblivion for the win here. I do also like using Divine Rose and Lionheart, but though with I said Lionheart. With Lionheart, that's the only Keyblade I got with some good range. Well, having to go out of my way to get the ultimate weapon, and the ultimate weapon getting in Final Mix is just asinine, dude. Like, they didn't have to attach the new items, so some special Heartless to the ultimate weapon. That's just ridiculous. That just makes the process getting even longer. And like, I like the way you got it in Kingdom Hearts 2 where you collect a certain amount of items and do some mini games. You're done. Like, you can get the ultimate weapon before you even beat the game. That's the thing about it. Like with KH, like the ones I don't like getting ultimate weapon in is KH1 and KH3. KH3 like plays some stupid ass mini games and lock the ultimate weapon behind those mini games. And with KH1, you gotta find those special Heartless, and you gotta get lucky and find them or manipulate the RNG. And I'm not a fan of that. I've never gotten the ultimate weapon on KH1 ever because it's just too painful to do it. It's really too painful to do. Like, it gets to a point where it's just like, why even bother at that point? You don't even, like, what's the point of even getting the weapon at the point, But yeah, other than like just one stupid ass requirement to get the Keyblade, yeah, Ultimate Weapon is a stupid way to get it in. But other than the Keyblades are alright. Anything else I gotta say about KH1? I guess it's no point in me saying the music's great because the music's always been great in Kingdom Hearts, so I'm gonna move on from that. What I wanted to see, I'm trying to remember something else. I'm trying to remember like if I had a problem with the game. I'm trying to remember like exactly what I had to say. I had like some more notes. I mean, I'm not even reading off notes. I'm just talking off cuff here, but there was something else I wanted to say, but I just can't for the life of me remember right now. I think I said everything. I've already talked about the worlds, I've already talked about the bosses, I've already talked about the story, I've already talked about the like. Yeah. Well, there's final mix content, but I already talked about the. I guess I talked about the unknown, like the boss fight, Xemnas. I hate that fight, dude. Like the fact that Xemnas hardly ever staggers sucks. Like it's not even the fact that he doesn't stagger; it's just he'll constantly attack you, and every hit you do can be parried or knocked away. I hate that fight. Like the only way I was able to feasibly beat that fight was with using what you call it. I used a strike ray. That was the only way I was able to beat that fight because that was so annoying. It took me like 3 tries to do it, and I had to spam strike ray just to get by. It was like because for every time he hit me, I just gained more MP and just spam strike ray that way. So thanks a lot, Xemnas, you bastard. And I still have to get to actually beat Sephiroth. Sephiroth is way too damn hard and annoying, but that's Sephiroth. What do you expect? He's always hard and annoying. But other than that, I think that's it for my KH1 talk. As I said before, the KH1 was not my first game. That was Chain of Memories, which I will be talking about next episode. But other than that, I think I'm done talking for now. I will put KH1 away for now. Yeah, I think that's it. I think that's everything. Oh yeah, Gummy Ship. I didn't talk about the Gummy Ship sections. I missed Gummy Ship. I kind of did it on purpose, but I don't like the Gummy Ship sections. Like really, they are like if like before you get the warp drive, you're stuck using the Gummy Ship. So if you want to go back to a world, you're gonna have to like play the level to go back, and like it's so slow because you can go in one of those warp holes and then have to constantly go back the other way again. It's so slow, and you can still go the wrong way. Like go back to a world you've already been, but not the right world you want to go to. It's so boring. Like the Gummy Ship is too damn slow in that game. Too slow. And I dread doing it every time because it's just like you don't even have to shoot all the enemies. You can literally put the Gummy Ship in a certain corner of the screen and just let it there. Like nothing will get you. Like I haven't bothered even upgrading or make my own Gummy Ships on KH1 because it's just that monotonous. Like really, dude. Like KH3 and 2 did a lot better with the Gummy Ships, man. Ugh. But like, if I want to go back to a world before I got warp, you didn't get warp drive until like way later. So if I wanted to go back to a world and I didn't have warp drive, I was stuck, forced, having to go back manually, and it was the worst experience. Like that means I'm not stuck just going straight ahead. Because like the only way you can go to like a Moogle shop or anyone significant, you have to go all the way back to Traverse Town. There's like no shops in any of the worlds you go to. Like really, barely any Moogle shops. No shops at all. In the worlds you go to, none. You have to go all the way back to Traverse Town and go to find a designated Moogle shop, and that's ridiculous. It's like a hub world of sorts, which I can get, but you shouldn't have to go all the way back there for a damn Moogle shop. But other than that, that's all I gotta say. KH1 is not a bad game, despite my gripes. Still a good game. Still had a lot of fun with it. Still playing it to this day, and I will be talking about Chain of Memories next episode. So I will see you all next time. Peace out, everybody.